It's 2026. The time now is 8:33 p.m. So I've can't find my other journal. I've misplaced I'm just looking for it. Yeah, so look here. So this is my notes now. What am I doing here? So here we've got your work today. It's very important you see through it very carefully because you're rebuilding greatness, Everything has to be clear, defined, so people have to stop being lazy. And your constitution matters to you. So that's why you're building your utopia, and you have to still write your book, namely, which is me, guys. Define capacity. Capacity is one ability. Capacity is one's ability to act on their expression. Capacity is one's ability to act on their expression. This basically means to do something, you have to act on what you want to do. But if it's basically your capacity, you're doing yourself, I'm building my operation, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm acting on my expression. I'm acting on what I want to do. It can be, when I want to get a tattoo or not, I act on my tattoo, my authentic expression, my personal development, I get a tattoo. I get a symbol, I get a glyph for my body, I get a coding. I get something that means something. I'm acting on my capacity. Define confederation. Confederation is a federation. It's a separate. A confederation. C for C for Charlie, O for Oscar, N for November, E for Echo, E for F for France, E for Echo, D for Delta, E for Echo, R for Romeo, E for Echo, T for Tango, I for Indigo, O for Oscar, and N for November. A localized, decentralized, distributed governance model where with shared values, beliefs, and or goals. With shared value, belief, and or goals. A localized, decentralized, distributed governance model with shared values, beliefs, or goals. That is a confederation, and that is what OBINexus is. No, that's what that OBINexus is basically we are federation. So you get a confederation, you get a federation. But everything is basically biologically stable. So you get the three poles, or contrapolar, so I'm making around by self. You get MMUCO OS, M for Mike, U for Umbrella, C for Charlie, O for Oscar, or MMUCO is one confederation, one localized authority in a confederation. And you get it's a confederation. Sometimes you make it properly, so you get a federation. Yes, so that's basically one federation, one confederation. So you get MUCO OS, you get my triples of Uche, Uzinko, Obinko, and three confederation, three complex or triplex, 1,500,000 acres of land is one stable configuration in a confederation. I'm trying to do the maths probably now. So you have 1,000 times 500, which is 500,000. Now 500,000 is one compound times 3. This will be 1,500,000. And this is basically one triplex or one complex unit of a duplex in a compound. And this is basically meters squared of land that I can invest in to build MUCO OS, M for Mike, U for Miller, T for Charlie, O for Oscar. MUCO OS is split in two things, Namdi. Two things. You have the digital operating system and you get a physical operating system. I was born in time, but I operate in space. The space where I operate. I was born in time. I was born in 8 months, not 9 months. 8 months and 3 weeks, I believe. I was born in 8 months and 3 weeks, and I operate in space. That means I'm growing, I belong in space. And that's what MMUCO represents. You have the three Uche, Eze, and OBI's compact triplexes, which are basically their homes all throughout Igbo land, and they represent the three layers of breathing. It's never optional. Living is never optional, and only work is optional. Because I need to work in the UK, and it shows that that's sustainable. The goal of having these three divisions is to ensure they back up each other in case of any war, but they're very separate places via bubble qualia framework of stability. In Nnewi, Anambra State, in Enugu and on Ashita. That's what it's gonna be. Gonna be one in Nnewi, Anambra State, one in Enugu, my grandma's house, my grandma's where my grandpa compound is, and one in Onitsha, or Onashita, where my friend is. Onashita, where my friend lives. Those three places are literally my foundation of breath, life, and work, and that's what I'm saying. That's why they must be made. Define completeness. A system that knows that's complete knows the advantage knows the advantage and disadvantages. A complete system knows its advantages and it knows itself. For example, if a radar system can be jammed, it knows it can be jammed to prevent jamming. It's encoded with some kind of a calculus. Basically you have some kind of a how this works systematically. You have the physical laws of physical laws of calculus, and you have the encoding for the based on systems of based on theorems of calculus. And completeness is a theorem. I'm trying to prove is a theorem that you can derive a set of equations from the first, second, and third principles of calculus. The third principle of calculus with the theorems, three theorems of calculus. Basically, there's three or more now, but these are laws that can be computationally preset in the computer or set to guide the system behavior. And a complete system knows, such a radio system can be jammed based on how it operates internally. Okay, I'm going to start this one before I do this one. So, define cybernetics and cognition. Okay, a cybernetic system. I'll use the real example. A cybernetic system is a system with a feedback loop into its own cognitive processes. For example, you have a thermodynamic scales that measures that can regulate itself to give a precise and accurate measurement. Because it being affecting the system will not give a clear reading of what's happening in the environment. It works on a kind of a sensor theorem. So the goals of this systems to isolate themselves and regulate the environment and measure the true nature of the environment, to determine the scale. A cyber system is a cognition system that regulates the ability of someone to do something. Doesn't matter its ability. My motherboard is a my MMUCO motherboard is a cybernetics interface. It's a cybernetics interface, and cybernetics are based on the electromagnetic memory model, which I'm trying to design boards of the motherboard for MMUCO OS. Based on the process, but that'll come later. Let me just build up the system first. MMUCO OS, M for Mike, U for Bella, K for Oscar, O for, K for kilo, O for Oscar is human rights system, human rights digital operating system. And the goal is to have the digital operating system be a cybernetic interface to the physical operating system, MMUCO OS. And if you're talking about ESE, they have basically you can have a force field, like some kind of a electromagnetic force field to block people out of Wi-Fi networks, based on the security of the system of the network. But like a wireless network, theoretically. I mean, hypothetically. So, the goal is to have the fundamental theorems of stability to create a feedback loop into the own system. So you can measure the density, the things as not a scalar. So everything is a vector, a 3D vector in R3 space. R4 space, R4 space being R3 space being two sets of R4 space to three space. You get the wireless connection to the internet, and you get the wireless connection from the cables to the internet, and wireless connection from the internet to the cables, which are the two sets of R3 spaces, internet and so basically I for internet, E for Ethernet is an element, is a tuple that's an element of R3. Such that R3 is a connection. R3 is a connection. So basically, hey, I'm forming math language intuitively now, guys. I'm so proud. This is just without thinking too much work. In a tuple. So in a tuple, I and E are two forms of I represents the internet, comma E represents Ethernet. In a tuple, in a curly brackets, in a round axis bracket, in the left bracket and right bracket, is an element of R3, where R3 is a row space it's a set of two row spaces. Where R3 represents the row spaces between the internet and the wide network, or WAN, wireless LA network, or wired of two sets of WAN or WAN. Of wireless and wired areas network, which can be wireless or not wireless, in R2 space, in two spaces here. But such as R implies bijection between, yes, which is a bijection, which is called a hyperspace. So the internet is a hyperspace because it's not all physical, it's not all digital. Define a house's stability. A house is not a home, guys. A house is not a home. So everyone has a home. The foundation of sustainability, such that having essentials of food, water, and shelter is grounded. Define housing. So there's no paying for food, water, and shelter because it's a utopian building, but you're gonna have this ecosystem around it. You can't just have that there. So you're gonna have something around that. That's what I'm saying. So it has to be grounded in stability factors too. What they're right here, basically. The foundation of 20% for essential sustainability ecosystem, such as for food, water, and shelter. Stability is basically having 20%, 10% more than the atmospheric pathway shape we go. So you can always get food, water, and shelter. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna have a drone system that deliver food, water, and shelter, and do some building based on your IP addresses. I'm saying you guys, So thank you guys for watching this video.